So this year I ended up playing some incredible JRPGs and I just had so much fun. There were some absolute classics that I've been meaning to get to for years, a few modern surprises that completely caught me off guard, and a couple that, didn't quite land the way that I hoped. So in this video, I'm going to be ranking every JRPG I've played this year from either worst to best. And when I say worst, it doesn't mean they're bad. It's just, my least favorite to my most favorite. Pretty much, we're going to talk about what made them work, what didn't work, and why I liked them so much. So before we get to that, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts down below. How would you rank your JRPGs that you played this year? And let's get to a game that I'm excited to stop talking about. I've talked about it enough, so let's go. So coming in at number 10 is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, I've talked about this enough, and if you watched my Game of the Year video or even my, kind of review video that I put out earlier in the year, you kind of know where I'm feeling about this game. But this is, it's a game that instantly grabs your attention visually. The art direction is gorgeous, the tone is moody and dramatic, and then there's this real striking sense of style, really, that made it feel different from everything that I've played this year. And when everything is like, lining up and firing on all cylinders, you can see exactly what the developers were going for. Something artistic, emotional, and memorable. And the combat system also has some genuinely interesting ideas. It tries to blend some timing-based mechanics, strategy, and spectacle in a way that feels, fresh and flashy. And I really appreciated that ambition. It feels like a game that really wants to push the genre forward and do things in a more stylish and cinematic way, while still also paying respect to some games that inspired it, which, of course I always respect. But for me personally, it's just a game that I couldn't fully connect to, either emotionally or anything else. I didn't walk away thinking about the characters or the story the same way I did the rest of the games in this list. It's good. It's really just a I wish I loved it more kind of game. If you want some more of my thoughts or, feelings on this game, go check out my JRPG of the Year video, or you can even watch my I Wanted to Love Clair Obscur video. But basically, story didn't line up for me. Gameplay was great. Music didn't really resonate with me, but you know what? I really respect what they went for here, so this is going to go last for me. But if it's first for you, I'm so happy to hear that. Next up is Dragon Quest I HD 2D. Now, this is just pure JRPG comfort food in the best way, and seeing the original Dragon Quest rebuilt with some modern visuals is really special, especially if you're somebody who loves the history of the genre like I do. The HD 2D look is gorgeous, there's charm in every corner of it, and there's something incredibly satisfying about that straightforward, old-school adventure structure. It's also a really fun reminder of how humble JRPG beginnings actually were. Yes, this is a remake, but the foundation is still that mid-80s classic. There's no overly complicated systems, no overwhelming mechanics, just simple progression, classic battles, and a clean, focused journey. So in a world now where a lot of JRPGs and stuff are like 30, 40, 50, 60, almost 100-hour monsters of games, there's something refreshing about playing something a little bit more lean and a little bit more quick. I think I beat this in around 12 hours, so definitely refreshing and definitely something you can get through in a couple of days. But at the end of the day, it is still Dragon Quest I. It's simple by design, and compared to the emotional depth and complexity and storytelling layers of other games on this list, it just can't compete on that level. I still really enjoyed my time with it, but in terms of impact, it's going to sit a little bit down further on the list. Number 8, Pokémon Legends ZA. Now, this was a really great game, and I have to caveat this because I didn't fully play it myself. I've been playing it with my son. We've had many hours into this game now, and even with the new Mega Dimensions DLC, which I'm actually really enjoying playing with him, it's been a memorable experience. But if I soloed this game, I probably might have it a little bit higher on the list. In terms of a game, this is exactly the kind of experience that you'd expect if you're a longtime Pokemon fan. It's fun, it's addictive, and that core gameplay loop of catching Pokemon and building your team and exploring the different areas of Lumio City is really satisfying. There's a reason that this overall formula has lasted as long as it has. It just works. And there's plenty of cool moments here. And if you're somebody who grew up with Pokemon like me, I started in the late 90s with Pokemon Blue. There's always a sense of familiarity and comfort when you jump back into one of these adventures. It's something that you can sink into easily, have a good time with, and enjoy without needing to overthink it. I definitely think it's a really great game overall though, but familiarity for me is why it lands a little bit towards the back of the list. Again, I didn't fully sink all my time into it, and from what I experienced, it didn't surprise me or emotionally hit me in some of the way that, like the DS games did, like Platinum or Heart Gold, for example. But, I really liked this game. It was cool, it's fun, and it's been a really great bonding game with my son as well. So we are well and truly into Pokemon now, thanks to ZA. Next up on the list is this game right here, Suikoden I. So Suikoden I played for the first time in 2025 with the remaster pack from Konami around April or something like that. And, I never played either 1 or 2. And this was a fun game, really. Suikoden I was a cool game to play, especially if you're discovering this for the first time like me, or maybe even revisiting, with fresh eyes, having not played it since the 90s or something. It's concise, it's slightly emotional, and has a lot of charm. And I really like how it introduces this political story and this insanely large cast in a way that actually feels digestible and not overwhelming. So for a kind of 20-ish hour RPG, it really made a big impression on me. And I like the Stars of Destiny system. It's a really cool concept. And even today, collecting characters and seeing how they fit into the world is really satisfying. It has that nice balance of being epic in scale, but still intimate in how it tells the story. This was a really great foundational game, and I have Suikoden II a little bit higher on this list, admittedly, if I'm going to tease a little bit, but I liked this battle system. I liked the giant war system, which is basically, your rock, paper, scissors thing with the big combat. It was really cool. And then the more story focused points where you can permanently lose your characters. So there's 3 different ways to actually battle in this game. It was really cool. I would say it was really ambitious for the time as well, but a great foundational game for sure. And I'm so glad I played it this year. Coming in at number 6 is Dragon Quest IV. Now, if you've been following me for a little while, you'll know that I've really only just kind of dived into Dragon Quest this year. I've played 11 before. I played 3 HD 2D last year, but now this year I've played 3 Dragon Quest games kind of back to back to back, and I've had so much fun doing it. But 4 was a really interesting game. It's a wonderfully creative JRPG, especially because of all of its, chapter-based storytelling. Getting to experience several smaller chapters and character stories before everything weaves together is actually a really fun way to build kind of attachment to the cast. It makes the world feel alive and lets each character shine in their own spotlight. It also has that classic Dragon Quest heart. I mean, the warmth, the charm, and those little details that make the series so lovable. There's a great sense of adventure throughout, and even if it's an older style JRPG that I played on the DS, it never felt lifeless or dull. Instead, it has that true classic magic that still held up for me. Now, I really liked this game, but it didn't hit the emotional highs of some of the games further up on the list. I mentioned this in my review a couple of weeks ago of Dragon Quest IV, but the lack of party chat and the fact that character personalities just kind of disappear after their individual chapters kind of lost me a little bit, but still I really enjoyed the gameplay and the overarching story of the game. It was fun and an absolute highlight of the year for me. Now, hey, before we get any further in the list, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because almost 90% of the people that watch my channel on the regular are not subscribed. So I would love to have you with every single video I release each week. Also, if you want more content on the regular, hey, follow me on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. I'm posting regularly, and it's a great and easy way to interact with you guys as well. So let's get to the next one, which is Suikoden II. Suikoden II, I tell you what, it's one of those JRPGs that you go into with sky high expectations because everybody tells you along the way that it's a masterpiece. And somehow this game managed to find a way to deliver for me. I don't think it was a 10 out of 10 for me. I'd probably say 8 or 9 out of 10. But still, the storytelling was great. The emotional beats were powerful and impactful. And the relationships and conflicts felt really human and grounded. It also does a really great job of building on the foundation of Suikoden I in a meaningful way. Of course, you can recruit the hero from Suikoden I and have him in your party for Suikoden II. Some characters from Suikoden I are also mainstays and main characters for Suikoden II as well, and everything overall just feels bigger and more intense and more refined. And the stakes feel so much higher as well. There are moments that in this game I think will absolutely stick with you long after you finish, and that's not something a lot of games can claim for me. I could have this a little bit higher on the list. I respect the heck out of this game, and I genuinely think it deserves its legendary reputation, but I'm just, personally and emotionally, I think I connected a little bit more with the things that came higher, but this was a really great game. And again, with Suikoden I, I'm really glad that I played it this year because you know what, if it didn't re-release as a HD collection or something, I probably wouldn't have touched it, to be honest with you, because that massive price tag for the original PlayStation 1 version, it can be really off-putting, but I did it anyway. Let's get to the next one. Number 4, Final Fantasy Tactics, another game that I played for the very first time this year, and I've mentioned it a lot since finishing it around September or something like that this year, and it was an awesome experience. So I can definitely say now that Final Fantasy Tactics is like an all-time classic, plain and simple. The political storytelling is rich and layered, the tone is dark and serious in a way that still feels unique now, especially with the Ivalice Chronicles remaster, and the world of Ivalice is incredibly immersive. From the dialogue to the music to the visual style, this game just oozes with very interesting atmosphere. And on top of that, the gameplay is ridiculously satisfying. I mean, the depth of the job system, the strategic thinking required, and the sense of reward that you get from building powerful teams and overcoming some really, really tough battles is fantastic. It's one of those games where you constantly feel smarter and more invested the longer you play, because you get a better understanding of how to play it and how to master the job system and basically how to formulate a plan to beat the boss you're stuck on, because you're going to see plenty of that. Now, the only thing keeping this out of my top 3 is that it can be a little bit punishing and maybe a little bit dense at times. There are definitely moments where this game's age shows, but even with that said, it's still easily one of the best tactical RPGs ever made and a huge highlight of my year. I hope they do more with Final Fantasy Tactics. Number 3, Dragon Quest II HD 2D. This game totally surprised me. I went in expecting a, half-decent remake of this sequel to Dragon Quest I. And I know a lot of people have said that 2, in original form, was kind of hard to swallow, hard to handle. It's very grindy. You get some different characters, but there's not a lot of personality there. But instead, I got something genuinely emotional, stylish, and memorable. The way that this remake modernized that world, the tone, and the storytelling while still respecting the original was incredibly impressive and a massive highlight for me this year. There are moments in this version that genuinely hit harder than expected. The presentation, the music, the atmosphere, and even the voice acting as well that helped me immerse more into these characters and the world. Everything just had this polish that's been lovingly layered throughout to really bring out the heart of the story. It's one of those games that made me stop and think, wow, I didn't expect this to be this good. And this was really close to being my number 1 JRPG of the year this year as well. I was pleasantly surprised by this. And you know what? This game really stuck with me, even now a couple weeks after finishing it. It was pure enjoyment. I can't stop thinking about it, and that's why it ranks so high. And sometimes a game just clicks, and this one absolutely did. I loved the music, the presentation, the battle system was fun. I liked the party chat between all of the cousins of the game, of course, because there's, family ties kind of thing happening here. And it was just it was a really nice, charming, and heartwarming, cozy kind of game. And some games come to you exactly when you need them to, and this is what Dragon Quest II HD 2D did for me. Now, number 2, this is a game I have not spoken about at all this year, and I cannot wait to talk about it. Now, I know a lot of you might say this isn't a standard JRPG and fine, whatever, but I'm putting it here at number 2 because it does have some JRPG traits, so just let me indulge myself here. But Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. This was an insane adventure I played for the first time this year. This was the first game that I played and beat this year. This ended up way higher than I expected it to, honestly, because I love Dragon Ball. This is the first game I played this year, and I thought it would just be a fun little throwaway adventure, but it really blew me away. And I hadn't revisited anything Dragon Ball in like 20 years, and I grew up loving Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and there's just something really special about the way that this game lets you live inside that world rather than just replaying events. It's surprisingly emotional. It takes time to slow down and breathe, and it nails a lot of the character moments. It's also incredibly fun. Seeing these iconic arcs play out with this level of presentation and attention to detail is awesome. And if you grew up loving Dragon Ball like me, there's an undeniable nostalgia punch that hits again and again. It just really feels like a love letter to the series. Is it the most mechanically complex RPG or JRPG ever? No. But in terms of sheer enjoyment and the emotional payoff for me, it delivered in a massive way. This game really made me feel something, and that's why it landed so high. And it propelled me on this Dragon Ball journey as well. I mean, I finished this game and then all of the DLC that was ready at the time earlier this year. And then, because I wanted more, I watched the entirety of Dragon Ball Super because I've never seen that. And then I wanted more because obviously Dragon Ball Super finished, early compared to the manga. So then I read the entire manga, waited patiently for the English dub of Dragon Ball Daima, because that's just one of the shows that I need to have the English dub for, because I love that English cast, especially, Sean Schemmel as Goku. And it was an incredible Dragon Ball themed year for me, and I really haven't had the chance to talk about it. So not only was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot great for me, it also shaped my year in terms of what things I'd be enjoying. So this was a really special experience for me, and I'm grateful for it. So you could say 2025 for me was the year of Akira Toriyama. Between Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest, I don't know, his influence on me has really been profound this year. And let's get to number 1 for my highest ranked game of the year. If you watched my Game of the Year video, you probably already know what I'm about to say, but it is Trails in the Sky First Chapter. Trails in the Sky First Chapter really stole the show for me this year. I went into this game not expecting anything. You know what? Gung Ho America gave me a review code for this. They said, here's a review code if you're interested. I said, all right, fine. I kind of had a remote interest in trails, of course. I never knew where to start, but this game really just blew me away. Character writing is incredible, the world building is ridiculously detailed, and the pacing lets you gradually fall in love with the cast in a natural way. Estelle and Joshua are fantastic leads, and by the time the story ramps up, you are already deeply attached to everything happening. And what makes it special is how warm and human it feels. The humor, the quiet moments, the emotional gut punches, it really balances out everything so well. It never rushes, and it never feels empty either. So every bit of time you spend in this world feels incredibly meaningful. And by the end, it wasn't just a great JRPG I played this year. It felt like a genuine experience that has stuck with me. It made me excited to keep going with the Trails series, and of course I'm going to keep doing that with, Trails in the Sky second chapter later in the year. And it reminded me why I love JRPG storytelling so much. So for me, this was absolutely the defining RPG experience of the year for me. So there you have it. There's my list from JRPGs of this year that I've played, ranked from worst to best. Again, worst doesn't mean bad games, just not my favorite. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your thoughts as well. What games did you play? How would you rank them? I wish I could have played more games this year, honestly, but time is just something that I don't have enough of. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment your thoughts, blah, blah, blah. And we'll see you again on another video very soon. Bye-bye.